I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, down wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math, I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, I ain't perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and whoo. Watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead. Watch how I set it up, bet you I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare to my line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Yeah, I hope you ready for the comeback. Steve Nash, I'm about to bring the sun back. Forecast looking bright for the comeback. Can't ignore it, promise you can never sun that. I pray for it, get ready for the comeback. Yeah, yeah, I think it's time for the comeback. I hope you ready for the, yeah, I see it's time. Press play on the tape, no rewind. No delay, put it all on the line. Only going up, ain't no room for the climb. Meet me at the top, or you won't ever see me. I'm making dreams come true like a genie. I'm making moves soon, you gon' have to king me. Checkmate, crown, you gon' have to bring me. Ain't no other way. Up next, then I'm putting you away. Yeah, maybe another day. Give me the trophy, I'ma put it on display. Hope you ready for the comeback. Steve Nash, I'm about to bring the sun back. Forecast looking bright for the comeback. Can't ignore it, promise you can never sun that. I pray for it, get ready for the comeback. Yeah, yeah, I think it's time for the comeback. I hope you're ready for the. I'm about to bring the sun back. Forecast looking bright for the comeback. Can't ignore it, promise you can never sun that. I pray for it, get ready for the comeback. Yeah, yeah, I think it's time for the comeback. Yeah, I hope you're ready for the comeback. I think it's time for the comeback. I hope you're ready for the comeback. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream. Every single weekday, right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but also sometimes in the morning. Guys, we got a little bit of a move to the downside, and I just wanted to go live this morning and talk to the Mafia about if you guys should be panicking and selling all of your crypto. I'm being sarcastic, guys. But I wanted to update you guys. My chair is sinking, guys. It's only 10:30 in the morning, and my chair is already bullying me. Unbelievable. But, guys, we got an amazing update for you today. I just wanted to go live as we did get a little bit of a move to the downside. Am I flipping a little bit more bearish? And the reason I want to go over this is because yesterday on the live stream, we were looking at some things that could be pointing to some potential more downside. And I kind of want to let you guys know the severity or kind of the importance that I'm putting on these moves down. Is this just another break of the range before we get accepted back into the value area and come back up to the value area high? Or are we finally starting to see some signs of a breakdown? So we're going to be going over all of that in today's live stream. Shout out to the Mafia. You guys going absolutely ballistic in chat before. Shout out to 12 Big. Shout out to Stephen Atwell. Shout out to Summit. We got Andy Lee in the chat, said, good morning, Frankie. Love it. So glad you're on this morning. Shout out to Andy Lee. We're going to try to do some more of these, guys. I don't know what the schedule is going to be, but if we get little moves here and there, we're probably going to start going live in the morning a little bit more. Shout out to Dixon Apple Juice. Said he's got his pancakes, and I said, hey, Dixon Apple Juice, more like Dixon Pancakes. Shout out to you, bro. We got Army Piper in the chat. What is going on, Army Piper? Thank you for stopping by, brother. I appreciate you. We got Theo Rodriguez in the chat, and guys, we got the Godfather. Show him some respect in the chat. He is the Godfather. But without further ado, guys, we got some good stuff to look at here this morning. So let's go ahead, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get it. So, guys, here we are on, well, surprise, surprise, the Bitcoin chart. But here we are, and as you guys can see, we did get a little bit of a slip of this range once again. And the question is, guys, is this the breakdown? Are we finally going to get a big move, or are we about to just get sucked back into this volume profile, flip that value area low to support, and then come back up to the POC and the value area high? And the answer is extremely simple, and that is Potentially. Maybe, but maybe not. I'm joking. It's not simple, but I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible to help you guys understand what I'm looking at and what I am expecting out of price. Now, as of right now, I will just update you guys. I am long from about... where am I long from? Hang on. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me check my entry here. Yeah, so I am scalp long here from about almost 51,000 exactly, right about 51,000. Come on, there we go. So I am long from right here, guys. And I want to talk about why I actually took this position. It has a little bit to do with the swing failure pattern, and it also has a little bit to do with the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator. But more on that in just a second. But as you guys know, we've just been looking at this volume profile as our local range, and we have just been absolutely destroying these trades within the volume profile in the premium Discord, looking for the shorts on the deviations above and looking for the longs on the deviations below, expecting price to ride back within the fair value and continue to range within our consolidation here. So the question is, are we finally going to break down? Now, as you guys know, yesterday on the live stream, we were looking at some pretty key things. Now, let me actually just hide this position really quick. We were actually looking at some stuff that actually, and even right now, there are some things on the chart, guys, that could be pointing towards a little bit more of a breakdown here. But again, we trust in the volume profiles until they don't play out anymore. And as you can see here, now we did obviously make a little bit of a lower low here on our wicks. However, just historically and just based off the typical theory of the volume profile, we literally, more often than not, will see price deviate below and then return back into the range. But as we continue on here, one of the reasons, let's go over some of these bearish reasons why we could continue down here, and this may just be a little bit of a retracement back up before we get a bigger move down. And it all starts here on the 4 hour. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a second to answer in chat. Do you guys see anything bearish about this 4 hour market cipher B? Yeah, I don't know. Throw something in the chat. Let me know. But while you guys are doing that, I'll just kind of point it out for you. Money flow is straight. We are straight trending to the downside here. Money flow is looking to cross over into the red, looking like it may happen somewhat soon. And this would indicate that the trend is more likely to continue to the downside. And this is kind of bearish puzzle piece number one. When we see these money flows start to cross over into the red on these medium hourly time frames, oftentimes, typically if you could get a bearish divergence to confirm as well, which we actually do have here on our wicks, you have that bearish divergence. Now, I do like to see these print on the bodies of the candle, which we do not have here, but you do have that bearish divergence as well as a nice swing failure pattern of the highs here from about $52,858. So you got that nice sweep of the liquidity up here, and then you get the move down, lower high, and then a breakdown back out of the range. And with the money flow coming out, it's not impossible to see this move continue down, guys. Now, like I said, I am scalp long, right? I am scalp long from about 51K. So I will be taking this trade. I have my stop loss set. If I get stopped out at a small loss, I will simply be looking down to the next level and the next long position. Now, where is that going to lie? Simply put, guys, we do have this next key level below us, which is sitting between 50,075 and 49,720, where we actually have a naked daily level. So this blue box is kind of the next significant zone of support I will be looking at for a long. So like I said, to be quite honest, we are just trading this range until we can't anymore, right? That's literally what we do. Price ranges 80% of the time. It is ranging more often than it's not, so that's why we like to make our money within the ranges, and then when we get those either breakdowns or those bigger breakouts to the upside, either way this winds up playing out. Typically, we are short from the high or long from the low, and then when that bigger move winds up playing out, we have a beautiful position, and this is why we trade this way, right? And then when price is boring, we're still able to make that money scalping these value areas. Now, because of that reason, I did get signals to go long here. Number one, what was I looking at? Well, first off, we did wind up getting a swing failure pattern of this wick low here. And I guess you could actually extrapolate that all the way back here. You kind of swung failed both of these levels. Now, anybody who's new to the channel doesn't know kind of what we look at for swing failure patterns. Basically, the reason we look for this, because oftentimes when you have these swing lows like this, you will have people who are in long positions from these levels with their stop losses set just below, right? Retail likes to set their stop losses just below these swing lows. And what this does is it winds up creating a lot of liquidity, right? AKA, it just puts a lot of stop losses and liquidation levels below these swing points. And when we see price wick down and push through these levels, and then the candle comes back up and closes above those levels, this is what's called a swing failure pattern. And basically what it does is it knocks all the longs out of the market, and oftentimes what happens after that is you will see price reverse back to the upside. Very similar to what we had happen right here before we swung failed this point, got a bigger move down. And then even here, we even swung failed the value area high before getting a bigger push to the downside. So we wound up getting that local swing failure pattern, as well as some confirmations on the order flow, which I'm not really going to go into. I really covered this more on in the premium Discord, but essentially just as a basic kind of theory, guys, of why I was looking for a bounce here. And the reason for it was, number one, you could see here, we had a lot of shorts opening up at the low, guys. And I was talking to the premium Discord about this earlier. This is why we don't breakout trade, right? Oftentimes people will come down to support. Price will come down to a support level, and then price starts to break down and push price below the range. This is where all the retail is getting super, super, super bearish. They're like, oh my God, we're breaking support. I must short. And you could see that confirmed by all these selling imbalances. And what happens to retail 99% of the time? Simply put, they get wrecked, right? And this is why we don't trade like that. And basically, when you see this happen, oftentimes you will see price reverse to the upside. And now if these shorts get trapped down here, where are their stop losses going to be? They are obviously going to be above. So that their stop losses laying above their positions could act for fuel in the market to push price back up to higher prices. And you can see here, you can see these red lines down here. These are pointing out those stacked imbalances. And you can see these shorts are indeed trapped down here, right? Anyone who is still in their short from down here is trapped in the red. So the more price pushes up, the more likely we are to stop out some of those short positions and get a bigger move to the upside. And that on top of getting the swing failure pattern, and I won't go into it, but basically just the formation of this candle. If you're in the premium Discord, you will know exactly what I am talking about. The way this candle looks with our value area of the candle in the wick is typically, even with the POC in the wick of the candle here, guys, this is what I like to see. I know it's really hard to see that POC, but you can see that golden box that's kind of flashing now. That is the POC of the candle. And oftentimes when you see this happen with the highlighted portion of your candle below, it is just a good sign, in my opinion, for a reversal, which is just one of the many reasons why I look to take that long position. And then if we actually pull up the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, you can see that we also wound up getting some pretty nice signals on this as well. Not that you should trade this as a signal, but or a kind of signal indicator. You should not trade this as a buy or sell indicator, guys. Buy and sell indicators, let me tell you, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? And that's basically how buy and sell indicators go, right? If it was as easy as just watching a thing pop up on your screen that says buy or sell, even if you're looking in hindsight, guys, like we spent a lot of time developing this indicator, and you can see these sauce cans pop up here. We got to move back down to the bottom of the range. Sauce can pops up here. We got to move back down to the bottom of the range. And these sauce cans print for very specific reasons based off the confirmations that I like to see as we deviate above the volume profile to give us some clear signs that we will come back down to the low. But I would never tell anybody just to trade this, wait for the sauce can, and then look to go short. That is not how it works. But I will actually show you kind of what I was looking at here that also gave me some extra confirmations to enter that long position. Now, this long position, guys, is not meant to be held forever. This is a simple scalp trade, right? If we make it up to this value area low, probably going to be a place where I am looking to take some profit. Which is obviously not that big of a move. But if we come on down here to the lower time frames, let me go ahead, and there we go, right? So we did very similar to how we entered this long position and this long position down here. We got the deviation below the range. We have our sauce can print. This is not when I entered the trade. This is just a confirmation letting me know that this may be a significant low, and we could be safe to look for long positions to re-enter the value area and come up to the high. Now, with that being said, as we look at this, how did I enter this trade? Well, simply put, I actually used, I'm not going to pull it up right now just because maybe we can. It's going to make this indicator disappear. But if we pull up the Lux Algo premium indicators, you can see here, if we zoom in, let me come on down. I believe it was on was it the 10-minute or the 7-minute? I believe it was the 7-minute. So as we came down here, guys, what did I look for, right? We had that sauce can print right here, giving us that bounce to the upside. And then on the pullback, I looked for two things. I looked for the golden pocket retest, which was popping up. Whoops, that is not a fib. There we go. I was looking for the golden pocket retest, which was coming in beautiful confluence with the, let me get this line out of the way. There we go. I was looking for the golden pocket retest, and the reason I was looking for that to enter was because we had confluence with our Lux Algo Smart Trail here, which is oftentimes when you have these things in confluence. If you guys saw my Frankie Candles Essentials tutorial, I talked about exactly how I use this strategy to enter trades, and we came back down, tested that bullish Smart Trail as well as the golden pocket 786. This is where I basically entered. I probably got filled a little bit higher, probably got filled on the way up like right here, but that was kind of what I was looking at to enter the trade. And again, if we come up to that value area low, that is going to be where I wind up taking my first profit. But with all that out of the way, guys, the question is, are we going to come lower? Now, here's another bearish signal that we're seeing. Other than that 4-hour money flow coming over to the downside, looking for that crossover into the red, we also have on the on the 2-day time frame, we actually are now printing a red dot, which is not like some kind of bearish signal that we're going to be looking at for like a massive move to the downside. Oh my God, guys, we're going to zero. Watch out for the 2-day red dot. But no, this is simply, this is more of an indication that we could get a little bit of a bigger pullback. Now, if we start seeing that 2-day money flow really start to pull back here and come down towards that zero line, it would be a little bit more alarming. But as of right now, this red dot would indicate a little bit more of a pullback, in my opinion, or at least indicate that it is possible. And you might be thinking, like, how do we know if it's actually going to happen? For me, I am going to be looking at the, if we wind up coming back up into this value area, flipping that value area low to support and get back into this area of balance, that would kind of invalidate that the idea of that 2-day red dot bringing us further down, at least at this moment. You guys have to remember, these 2-day time frames do take time to play out, right? So we could even come back into the range, go to the high, and this 2-day red dot could potentially still remain here, and then we get another chance to come up to the high of the range and find some new short entries to potentially ride it back down to lower prices. But all in all, guys, that 4-hour money flow is basically the one of the main things I'm looking at to potentially call for more downside. Now this level here, again, this is the last time I will kind of mention this. We've been looking at this on the live stream for quite some time, but sitting here at about $50,000, that is the next significant level of support. And if we pull up the 1-month heat map here, we could take a look. And where are we here? 47. Yeah, so at about 50K, I'll actually come down to the 7-day. $50,000 is going to be that next significant level of support, and you can see if I go ahead and zoom in on the heat map here. This is kind of the liquidity that we're looking at, guys. Right down here, if we push down, again, the reason I am waiting for that golden pocket fresh daily level, right? Golden pocket. We have the fresh daily at the bottom of this blue box. I don't have it drawn on this chart. And we also have the point of control from this old value area, this small kind of micro range that we had back here in start around February 12th. And then we have the 786 sitting down here at about 49,274. So this whole zone is really support. However, this blue box I am putting some focus on. And then again, if we pull up the heat map, you can see we do have the liquidity to support that theory, right? So, all this liquidity kind of winds up ending at about $49,750. And what happens when we pull up TradingView? 49,750. You can see, if we do wind up coming back down to this level, we may start hitting all that liquidity and pushing price to the downside based off of those, all those liquidation levels getting hit. And maybe we get a wick down to that 786, or maybe we don't. Who knows? But that's kind of what I would expect. If we come down there, start stopping these people out and liquidating them, we might get a little bit of a flush to the downside, as we typically do see with those liquidation wicks. By the way, if you guys are watching and you're curious about, what a like when people mention liquidation wicks, what does this even mean? Let's explain it really quickly to you. Simply put, guys, when you have liquidity sitting like this, it is in the form of liquidations and stop losses. And when you get stopped out of a long trade, it creates a market buy. That's just simply how it works, right? And that's why oftentimes when you get a big liquidation wick, you wind up seeing a big reversal to the upside, because as those longs get liquidated, when you get pushed into this... Actually, I don't know. Don't take that seriously. I don't know if I messed that up. But if you push into these liquidation levels, guys, and these longs get stopped out, I think I might have said it created buy orders. But when you get stopped out of a long position, it creates a market sell, which creates extra selling pressure on the market, which is why those liquidations push so far down. Those big liquidation wicks that you see, let me try to, like, even here, right, on this swing failure pattern that we had right here, you get that big wick to the upside and then a sharp reversal. That is because all the short positions or all the people that are short from this high have their stop losses set above, and when you get stopped out of a short position, it creates a market buy, and that's what creates those big wicks to the upside. It gives extra buying pressure to the market, and vice versa for the longs. Stopped out of a long, it's going to create market sells. So if we come down here and we start stopping out longs, we're going to see likely one of those big liquidation wicks, and understanding we have that 786 below at $49,286 is going to be a big level to watch, because if you get other bullish confirmations at that level, knowing that all the longs already got stopped out and you're getting new confirmations to go long, this could be your indication to maybe enter a position and get a bigger move to the upside. So simply put, guys, this is kind of what I'm looking at. If we continue down, that's the next key. These are the next key levels of support. And if we continue up, we are simply just going along with the plan that we've had ever since we started trading within this range, which would be long the lows and short the highs. If we get a break to the upside, your next key level of resistance obviously remains the same up here, closer to about $54,467, where we have the buy bit value area high, and you could even maybe run that up all the way to 55K, right? Because that $55,000 might be the next psychological level that we see. And if you wick above that value area high, that may be a level to look at. And one more thing to keep an eye on, if we do wind up getting a move up and we deviate above this range, your 786 is sitting closer to 57K. We also have a, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just spawn these naked points of control. Come on, XO charts, there we go. And let's come on over to the dailies. Is it a daily or maybe it's a weekly? Bear with me. Come on, there we go. Right here, we do have a weekly naked point of control at about $57,000 even. So that is in confluence with that macro 786 retracement. So if I go ahead and I pull that macro fib from the bull market high at 69K all the way down to the bear market low at about 15.5. You can see your 786 is sitting here at about 57,683. And then that naked point of control, that weekly naked point of control, let's double check that. Weekly naked point of control at $57,000 even. So that adds a nice extra level of resistance in that little pocket. So if you do get, some kind of a crazy breakout and we start ripping above that value area high, that is going to be kind of the next zone of resistance that I would be looking at. So there you go, guys. That is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. I would watch this 4-hour money flow, as this is kind of the thing that is making me feel, come on, markets ever. There we go. As we are, this is the 3-hour, sorry. 4-hour money flow crossover into the red. That is probably going to be the sign that this trend continues to the downside. And I'm not going to lie, guys. Yesterday, these VWAPs were coming up towards that zero line, and they just got a harsh rejection back down. So that is my plan. And I want you guys to understand, my plan doesn't have to do with guessing which way we're going and trying to be right, right? We are prepared in multiple scenarios. Right now, I'm long from 51K, right? I'm long from 51. If we ride that up, we have a plan to make money. If we get stopped out at a small loss, we have our next levels that we're looking at for trade, right? And it's really that risk management as well as it's the risk management as well as kind of understanding that you don't need to be right all the time and having an open mind to multiple things happening, right? And overall, I will just say this. In the longer term, I know a lot of people are probably wondering, does he still think, because you guys know I have been leaning bullish, right? Looking for that value area high to get hit. And yes, I still do remain bullish. And it has to do with a lot of liquidity sitting between these highs and that value area high above, as well as many other things that could suck us up to this level. However, if we get a little bit of a pullback before that winds up happening, I am totally okay with that. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin for now, guys. Let's see. Dave Digital says it works for me. Not sure what you mean, but if you have suggestions to make improvements, message Tony D in the Discord. Shout out to Dave Digital. I don't know what that's in reference to. Let's see. Shout out to Jungle Boy. Says, just push the Bitcoin button, bro. We know you got it. Shout out to Jungle Boy. I don't know. We don't have it. We should have a Bitcoin button. I don't know what it would do. Shout out to Golden in the chat. What is going on, bro? And shout out to Army Piper for getting those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you very much. Shout out to Army Piper. Shout out to Jacko tuning in. We got Jay-Z said if NVIDIA misses on earnings 48K, that is a possibility. Shout out to, who's this? Chris. Don't get pissed. Shout out to you, bro. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see. Shout out to Rob says, I mean, the divergences don't print as price action is developing. It's only a retrospective indicator. Okay, so shout out to Rob Ella. This is not the case. Well, it kind of is the case, but it's supposed to be like that, right? Like I just mentioned before, with the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, when you see the sauce cans print, this is not a signal to go short. If you are looking for an indicator that is going to tell you when to buy and sell, I would recommend just stop looking for it because it doesn't exist. If it was that easy, everybody would be rich. No one would have a job. Everyone would have a buy and sell indicator. You'd program a simple bot to buy when it says buy and sell when it says sell, and you could literally just do whatever you want and have a bot make money for you, right? That is not how it works. These sauce cans, and I think a lot of people think that sauce can printing 3 candles after the divergence is not supposed to be like that. It is supposed to be like that, right? Because what you have to do is you still have to do other analysis to make sure that you're getting into a good trade. What that sauce can does is it give you the confidence, right? If we pull up the... Let me actually walk you guys through this real quick. Let me pull it up, right? So what they are confirmation signals. So what this does is... Let me pull it real quick. Bada boom. Come on. Come on. There we go. So right here, right? Let me see. What was the, if you watch the tutorial that we went over, going through the trade breakdown of what how I actually use this to enter a Bitcoin long, which I believe was, I don't know exactly what long it was, but basically how this would work, right? If I were trading this live, and you could also change the look back periods. I believe you can make it print faster, but I don't even really recommend that, right? So what happens here? You deviate above the volume profile, you get your divergences, your money flow is coming out. These are the things you need to be looking at. I also look at order flow, obviously, but basically what this would do, I'll actually talk about this trade right now that I entered, right? So this is the signal that I was going off of on my last long entry. It is not the only thing, right? I didn't see that sauce can print and just randomly get into the position because it said sauce can, get into a long. That's not how it works, right? But what you see here is you have the bullish divergence, which is what that line is indicating, and the sauce can prints when you get significant divergences outside of your value area. Because again, when you get a move above your value area, you get these divergences, that is likely a strong top. So you're already looking at this stuff, and when you see the sauce can, like for this position, right, I entered this based off of many things. The swing failure pattern of the lows, the bullish divergences, right? And then we got the sauce can, which allowed me to look for the long position, right? Sauce can printed, we came up, and then on that retracement, I am looking to enter the position. Now, does this sauce can mean that we are guaranteed to just shoot right up? Absolutely not. I could get stopped out of this trade, and that's totally fine. But that's how you should use this. It's not, you shouldn't be like watching the candles, waiting for the sauce can and buying. That is not necessarily how you should be using it. You could try to use it like that, but again, if it was that easy, nobody would have a job. So there you go. You should be using them as confirmation signals, not buy and sell signals. So if you're out there and you're thinking that these divergences are printing late and they are useless, that is just not the case, right? You're just looking to use the indicator in a way that no indicator would work, right? So hopefully that helps you out. I forget who asked for that, but hopefully that helps you out. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Boots said, I'm scared of nothing. Hospitals can fix it. Shout out to Moon Boots. Yeah, I have no idea what you guys are saying. BTC about to pump. Shout out to X Sin. I hope so. That would be good for my long position. But guys, real quick, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, as we did wind up seeing Ethereum get a move up to that $3,000 target we've had our eye on for quite some time. And we have some pretty key levels. Let me get rid of the indicators here. We do have some pretty important things to look at, right? Number one, we wound up, right, coming up to a higher time frame. Just for anybody who's not familiar with what we've been looking at on Ethereum, if you saw my Ethereum update video about a month ago, maybe a little more, we were looking for price to finally, as we came up and tested this level and got a rejection, we were looking for price to return to the value area low, flip it to support, and then get a move all the way up to about 3K and above, targeting the point of control and value area high of the range. And simply put, we have the value area low, which is the doorway to higher prices right here. We got above it, and then we get that quick move to the upside, hitting that $3,000 target, and we are now just shy of that point of control, which as long as we remain above that value area low, which I know is kind of far away at this point, but as long as we remain above this value area low, guys, that target remains the POC at about $3,100, and then the value area high at $3,183. So this is just going along according to plan here. However, as we zoom in here, you can see we did get a little bit of a rejection. Key level of support, very, very simply, this weekly naked point of control. It was resistance, resistance, resistance. And then if we come back down and flip this to support, this could potentially be where we get a bounce. Now, if we break down below that, that's where I'm looking a little bit lower. But again, when in doubt, zoom out and look at your volume profile. I would not be worried about Ethereum until I don't think we're going to get a huge move down like this, but if we were to get a massive move down to that value area low, it wouldn't be until we lost that level that I would be looking for lower prices. But for now, this weekly naked point of control is going to be a key level. And actually, we do have some kind of confluence here with that and our golden pocket retracement, giving it a little bit of extra sauce here on that weekly naked point of control, which is right there, bada boom. So right here between about 28.48 and 28.25 is going to be the next levels for Ethereum that I would be looking at. 786 sitting down here at about 27.88. Obviously going to be another level. I just don't want to give a huge long zone like this. So I would actually probably just look at these as two separate levels like this. Bada boom, bada bing. So there you go. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum. Now, same thing on Market Cypher. Money flow coming out on the 1 hour. Your 4 hour, come on, there we go. 4 hours looking a little less bearish than Bitcoin, but still technically trending to the downside. VWAP coming up. So we may bing bong around a little bit, but those are the key levels to the downside. And then to the upside, your POC and value area high are going to be the next target. Shout out to George. Said, Frankie, I caught Matic on an SFP yesterday. LFG, wondering whether I should TP at the previous value area high. Shout out to George out there using our system to make himself some money. Let's go. But shout out to you, bro. But yeah, let's go ahead. I will take a quick look at Matic here. And as you guys can see, there are actually two value areas that I am looking at above on this chart. We actually just came up to the value area low, and we got some beautiful, beautiful resistance here. Very predictable resistance, guys, because not only do we have that value area low as a key level, however, we had some very clear bearish divergences here on the 4 hour with our higher highs on price action, lower highs on our momentum waves, and then bing bong right to the downside. And this was, I was letting the premium Discord know I was not mostly out of this position, but I'm about 50% out of this position. I do think we could still continue up into this volume profile and see some much higher prices for Matic. If you take a look at the daily, you can see our money flow has just crossed over into the green not too long ago. This is a fresh money flow crossover in my opinion, but this pullback was expected because we hit resistance. We have the daily red dot, which is oftentimes going to give us some kind of a pullback. And then when you get those bearish signals like a bear div on that 4 hour time frame at that key level of resistance, this is sometimes a signal that the pullback is coming. And on top of that, we also saw some a swing failure of this wick from up here, which is probably another reason why we wound up coming down from there. So actually, shout out to George. Let me know, is that the SFP that you got from right here at $1.03? I bet it is. But that is, or maybe you caught it on a lower time frame, but that is partially why I wound up taking a good amount of profit off of my Matic long. As you guys know, we were in that for about a week, or maybe a little longer than that. But played out beautifully. And the question is, should you TP at the previous value area high? Well, I will say this. There are two levels that I am looking at on Matic, and one of them is actually, let me go ahead and pull up the this Matic chart. Or maybe not. Where is that chart? I'll just pull it up here and pull up our naked points of control. Come up on that weekly time frame. And we actually already hit it, right? Yeah. So this weekly naked point of control at about 92 cents, right? 93, 92 cents was a key level that I was watching, but we've already come down and taken that level out. So that would have been a TP for me if I were in a short. I was not. I actually was open to a short here, but I didn't want to open the trade right before I went to sleep last night, so I wound up sitting out of it. But totally fine. My long entry was like all the way down here, so my long is still the money I have left in my long is still massively in profit. But I would have TP'd at that weekly naked point of control at about 92, 93 cents. But if we did get a move all the way down to that previous value area high, George, that is going to be that next major key level of support I would be looking at. And if you did get a move down there, that would be the key level that I would definitely be looking at TP there. And then, chances are, based off the daily, right? Look at the daily money flow. Fresh crossover. Even if we come down more, as long as this money flow winds up coming back up into the green, right? Like these money flow waves, like look what happened here, right? We came up to a key level of resistance, and then we got a pullback. Money flow almost came down into the red, but got some support and continued up. I would be looking for something very similar to happen here. And then also coming up to the weekly, you can see weekly money flow crossover is literally crossing over into the green right now. This is a bullish signal in the long term. Short-term pullbacks can happen, but this weekly money flow crossover would indicate that much higher prices could be likely in the near future. And I compare this a lot, right? Like take a look at some other coins like Chainlink. Weekly money flow crossover literally was the start of the breakout of, let me turn off these naked points of control. This bear market zone, this bear market range that we were trading in, right? As soon as you wound up getting that weekly money flow crossover right here, that was essentially where you wound up getting the breakout and then much higher prices to come in, approaching that macro bull market value area where we have broken above and started our journey up towards that POC, which is actually sitting up here at $27 for Chainlink. But the reason I bring that up is because we are literally, right, like on Matic, if you were to kind of compare this, if we went into bar replay mode, the bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, right here, right? So this is basically like the situation Matic's in right now, right? Matic is just getting the weekly money flow crossover. And we are actually knocking on the door of a previous value area like this one. Come back over to Matic. You can see just got that crossover, knocking on the door to higher prices, which is that value area low. Once we flip that value area low, I'm not saying it's happening today or tomorrow, but if we get above there and we hold this, that's where you could see a bigger range fill up to about $1.28. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but and we could even pull back, like George was saying, if we do pull back to that value area high, could find support. If we break down below that value area high, we would expect lower prices as we'd be getting accepted into this lower range. But if we get support, I would expect something maybe like this. Then you could flip the value area low to support and then potentially fill the range up to at least the POC at $1.10, if not all the way up to the high at $1.28. Obviously dependent on what Bitcoin does, guys. If Bitcoin absolutely dumps and maybe NVIDIA misses earnings and everything is dumping, obviously this would change things. We have to assess the new information as it comes in. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Coach says, come on, bro, do AIOZ. We need some new TA. I just want a second opinion. Shout out to Crypto Coach. Let's see here. What is it? AIOZ. Let's see on Coinbase. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Actually, let's take a look at this. Shout out to Crypto Coach. Let's take a look here. So, I don't know. I don't even know how you would say AIOS Network. I don't know much about this project, but what I can do is take a look. Yeah, it does look like this thing is in price discovery. If I could be wrong. I want to be clear. Like I said, I don't know if I'm looking at the I may not be looking at the most. No, this thing looks like it's in price discovery. So what I would do here is let's pull this fib, this macro fib here. I know we're only on the 6-hour chart. We'll come up to the daily. There's not too. Well, actually, there is actually a significant amount. Oh no, we're not in price discovery. Hang on. Well, actually, I could still do this. Let's pull up the VPVR. Bada boom. Bada bing. Okay. So, yeah, and here's a testament to the volume gaps, guys. This big move up is, okay, so this is your key level to hold. You do not want to lose these lows again. Let me mark out some levels here. Let me, on the daily, pull from this impulse to the high. See the macro golden pocket from the high to the all-time low. Bada boom. This is way far out. We don't have to worry about that. Let's take a look at the weekly levels. Actually, let's take a look at the monthly levels first. Monthly levels are pretty dang far. Let's check the weeklies. Trying to find more close. Okay, so you're hitting some kind of significant resistance, but the good news on this is if you flip this, could open up the door for much more upside, potentially bringing you. Well, let's keep going here. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the level that if you do pull back, this is the zone. You do not want to lose this zone. This is the key level of support. Specifically right here at 12.12394. This is going to be a very key level to watch. Now, you could be ready to put in a weekly bear div here. I would be careful. Money flow looks good. In the long term, this money flow looks pretty dang good. Once that crosses over into the green, this would be an early crossover. I don't know a lot about this project or the fundamentals, but I will say this, like price action doesn't look like this is like a low liquidity meme coin. I will say that. It looks like it's legit. But take a look at, again, Chainlink, right? That weekly money flow crossover. I really press this home, guys, because this is very similar to what we were looking at for the weekly money flow crossovers into the red, guys. This is where I was telling everybody on our channel, not that this is financial advice, but I let everyone know that once money flow on the weekly gets into the red, and we have a couple of weeks in the red on money flow, that is where I'm going to start DCing back into crypto, right? And this was basically my strategy. And once money flow crossed into the red here, you have a couple weeks in the red, and you were basically at the bottom. And the reason I might be thinking like, okay, yeah, cool, Frankie Candles, that's nice, but like this already happened. But the reason I bring it up is very important because this weekly money flow crossover into the green is very similarly a super strong signal to that we are likely to get these bigger moves up. And you can see it just beautifully illustrated here on Chainlink. What is this? What did I just do? What is that? But yeah, money flow crossover into the green. Once that wound up happening and it confirmed, we wound up getting 181% move to the upside. Taking a look at Ethereum, you wound up getting your first money flow crossover. Significant one was really right here. You kind of got faked out here a few times, but once that wound up happening, I'm not going to zoom in on all the price action. I'm just going to measure here. 104% after that significant weekly money flow crossover into the green. And then take a look at AIOZ. Come on. There it is, right? You are not even getting the crossover yet. So you may be somewhat early here, even though you got that big pump to the upside, assuming this is a legitimate project that you are going to continue and you're going to continue to see higher prices. Now, here's the key levels I would be looking at, right? Very, very specific, to be honest with you. These are not, these are very specific levels. So let me go ahead and pull off the indicators and take a look here, right? Number one, this blue box is going to be very key. It's your golden pocket, your local golden pocket 786 retracement, and right on that golden pocket, you have a weekly naked point of control confluence. So if you come back down, let's say, let's come on down to the daily real quick, see if you're getting any bearish signals on the daily. So you have a fresh green dot, so I would be careful with these alts, guys. Sometimes they do just like to push. But if you break this weekly naked point of control, this is a key level. If you flip this to support, likely it will open up the door to some more upside. If you get a cool off and you break back down into this range, Frankie Candles, what range? This range. It was here the whole time, guys. I'm kidding. But if you break down, if you get a pullback, this is what I'd watch, right? This is your context. That's your range, right? So if you come down and you don't get support on your value area high, I'd look for a move down into this blue box, which may be a buy the dip opportunity, depending on what price looks like when we get down there. It's not just a blind put this on your chart and buy when you hit the box, because if you break down here and you start losing the 786 and things don't look, you're not getting any bullish confirmations, you may want to look for lower. But these are definitely the key levels locally that I would be looking at. With a lot of stress, I would actually move this blue box just to this golden pocket because there's nice confluence here. There's not as much confluence on the 786. So this level is going to be very important. And then if you break that weekly naked point of control, could open the door for much higher prices. And then taking a look at your volume here, zooming out, trying to see where the volume is traded. Come on. There we go. Yeah, you start to lose a significant amount of the volume once you get up there, right? So, most of your volume is right here and basically all down here. So this is good. As long as you remain above this high volume node, again, very close to this blue box, As long as you remain above that, you could wind up seeing these higher prices. You flip that weekly naked, that next significant level is going to be up here at about 51 cents. Not calling for that to happen tomorrow, but there you go. That is basically what I would be looking at and the key levels I would be watching. Fresh green dot on the daily could bring you up locally. Now, shout out to Crypto Coach. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, thanks, bro. You the best. Always. Shout out to you, man. No problemo. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, shout out to Nabil. Says, by the way, Frankie, do you know why I don't see money flow on TAO on the daily? It's probably because you don't have enough price history. So if you come on over to the daily, yeah, you could. Oh, wait, hang on. Come on, Market Cypher. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Shout out to Nabil. I'm not 100% sure, brother. If you're looking at another TAO chart that has less price history, maybe why yeah. So you're probably looking at a chart with not a lot of price history, which is there's not enough information to calculate money flow here. So just I would recommend going to a different exchange. So MEXC has a little bit more price history here, and you can see we do have money flow waves. So there you go. All right, shout out to Dave Digital. Said if you start your live stream at 11:10, we can raid you from Randy Hipper's stream each time. Tony D, Frankie Candles, Tyler Durden. Shout out to Dave Digital. Interesting. Interesting, Dave. Shout out to you, bro. It's not a bad idea. Let's see. Yo, shout out to JF Space says, hey, I'm awake. It's 7 a.m. And Dave says, Space, you're dreaming. This is a dream. Shout out to Dave. But anyway, guys, let's see. I think, shout out to Alt F4. I wonder what that does. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Tony D's like, you know better than that, Frankie. But no, shout out to Alt F4. Says MACD cross on A to BTC 2-day chart. Shout out to Alt F4. Not a big, what do you call it? Not a big MACD guy, if I'm being honest. But I will take a look at it for you. A to BTC. Oh, God. Let's see. I so rarely look at the MACD. But let's see. Moving average, convergence, divergence. Okay. So let's see. Says the 2-day. Bada boom. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know what's funny? This is not what, I mean, you could clearly see this. The MACD is not like what the money flow is calculated off of. But you can see you are starting to get that on the, you are starting to get the crossover here on the 2-day, which could be a bullish signal. But again, I don't put a lot of weight on the MACD. It gives a lot of false signals. It's really the only reason. But to be quite honest with you guys, like every indicator will give you false signals. I just find it happens more on the MACD. But if you look here, we are also getting the money flow crossover into the green on Market Cypher B, which you can see like the last few times that we have gotten that, like we have actually, yeah, like the last time we have had significant money flow crossovers into the green on the A to BTC chart was basically back in, like after, April of 2020, right? So yeah, that's right after you know what. Then we got that 2-day money flow crossover, and what happened? That led to a huge rally, and then a pullback, and then the bull run wound up happening, giving us these giant green candles. So I will say this: shout out to Alt F4. I don't know how I had to look back at that. It's like the best name ever. But yeah, I will say this: money flow on the 2-day is also in agreement with that. So although I don't put a lot of weight on the MACD, I will say Market Cypher, which I do put a lot of weight on, is in agreement with this. So maybe this is a time where it is going to give you a legitimate signal. Very hard to confirm if it is going to be a legitimate signal. But yeah, it's nice that money flow on Market Cypher B is in agreement. And then you take a look at the weekly. I will say you're also looking to get a green dot on the weekly here. And I'm actually just going to get rid of the let me just get rid of the MACD real quick, just to clean things up. You can see money flow is starting to trend to the upside, right? With the 2-day money flow crossover into the green, this makes sense for this weekly to continue up. But you are very, very, very close to printing a green dot here. So that is not too bad. Once you get that green dot on the weekly, I think it is probably going to be likely that you wind up. Let me pull a fib here and see if I can get any confluence on this value area high right here. It just moved. Bear with me, guys. Come on. There we go. So let me see if I can get some confluence here. Bada boom. Pull it right here. Yeah, so this would be the next level of resistance I would watch on this. And again, this is Cardano Bitcoin. Change that to shorts for resistance. And yeah, so you do have this little gap here. So what I would expect out of this next potentially would be, if you get that green dot on the weekly, I would look for that push up. Potentially, once you crack this level here, probably going to get a quick move into your Fibonacci levels here. And then in which case, depending on what market cipher looks like, you may be getting significant signs of a cool-off before continuing higher. But that's what I would be looking at. These are the levels, and as well as market cipher B. Money flow coming up on the weekly with that green dot is not a horrible sign. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. H-bar, shout out to no one. I didn't realize that was going to sound like I was shouting out no one. Shout out to no one. Wants H-bar. Shout out to you, brother. Let's go ahead and check it out. Take a look at H-bar on the Bybit chart. And here we are, guys. Here we are. And, baby. All right. So, H-bar. I'm pulling up the weekly time frame. The money flow. Look at the money flow on the weekly. Let me zoom in here a bit. I'll just go here and mark out the actual money flow crossover. And you can see money flow crossover into the green. When did it happen, guys? Very similar to what we were just looking at. Let me get rid of that. Money flow crossed over into the green. Boom, giant green candle, break out of the range, bullish retest, and then onward and upward, making new highs. Next key level of resistance remains the same as what we've been looking at, and it is going to be this macro golden pocket sitting at about 13 cents. Could we see H-bar hit a 13-cent price target in the next couple of weeks? Potentially. Now, if we pull back up that VPVR that I just removed off the chart, we could go ahead and take a look here. This is, let me see if I can find... Okay, so there's not too much volume here based off of the current price action or the price action on this chart or price history on this chart. And yeah, once we break above the, I would say 12-cent level, basically where we rejected here, there is not much above us to hit that golden pocket. So I would be very careful. Are we hitting any significant levels of resistance? Yeah. I mean, what did you reject here? Simply put, it was a weekly naked point of control. Right? This is why we look at the points of controls like this, guys, because they are extremely reliable levels of support and resistance. Doesn't mean they hit every single time, but oftentimes, like, look at that. You swing fail that naked point of control, like, almost perfect. I mean, just about perfectly. Like, that is what I like my swing failures to look like. Where you break above, close the candle just below the level, and then, boom, you get the trend to the downside. So that is what you wound up rejecting. It is a weekly naked point of control. Now, actually, let me go ahead and pull that back up really quickly to see. Yeah. So other than that, your next key levels are definitely going to be here because you also have a naked point of control. Let me go ahead and move this up as well. Yeah. So your next, and let me get rid of that double box. Bada boom. So yeah, that is what I'd be looking at on H-bar. If you do continue up, and you basically what you got to do if you want to see that 13-cent H-bar sitting at that weekly naked / golden pocket, what you need is you need to flip this weekly naked point of control to support. So you flip 11 to 12 cents to support. That's where I could see you could break out to that 13-cent level. Now the weekly time frame, green dot confirms. You do have to be careful because right now we could be putting that bearish confirmation in. The weekly bear div, right? Higher highs into that key level, which is the naked point of control. I wouldn't. Now, again, with the way money flow looks right now, with money flow continuing up here, guys, I would not be expecting this to give us a huge nuke to the floor, right? Because, like, where are we in the cycle, right? We are clearly, we have the altcoins exiting their bear market ranges. We have broken out, bullishly retested, and made higher highs. This is a significantly legitimate breakout, right? And even if, let me see, we could pull up volume real quick. Bada boom. Interesting. A lot of absorption there, probably. But yeah, this is that didn't really help at all. But this is a legitimate breakout, right? So and then you think about the timing of the cycle. Like, where are we within the 4-year cycle? The halving is right around the corner. This is typically where things start to pick up. Whether we get a pre-halving dump or not, that's a whole other story for another stream. But for the most part, guys, these fresh weekly money flow crossovers in the past on a lot of the altcoins have been the start of massive, massive, massive rallies to the upside. Not enough price history here on Matic. I got to pull up an older coin like Link, but you can see here, right? Weekly money flow crossover in December of 2018, and then once you get that money flow crossover, it is just off to the races. Doesn't mean you didn't get big pullbacks along the way, but it is basically up and to the right. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that we're just going to go up and to the right, but this is just going back in history and kind of back testing what has happened in the past to see how it could potentially play out in the future. So if H-bar is going to play along with the 4-year cycle and the rest of the altcoins, this weekly money flow crossover would make this weekly bear div, it would make me handle it significantly different. I would not be looking for a huge pullback, yet I would be looking for a pullback to make a macro lower high before continuing off to higher prices. Question is, where would that lower high likely come in? Well, I will tell you this. This previous value area high at 9 cents would be a huge level to watch. I would actually prefer not to come back down to that level. But let's see. Let's pull up the weekly. Yeah, you have no significant naked points of control below. But what we could do here is pull our fib from the low to the high. Yeah, I mean, this whole cluster down here. Yeah, I mean, your previous value area is going to be, like, if we do get a bigger move down, things are, oh, my God, we're going to zero. This would be either where I'd look for a bounce off the value area high. If we get accepted back in, I would simply use this. Let me get rid of these levels. I would simply use this value area as context, right? If we don't get a bounce off the high, I would look to fill the range down to the low and then start to search for new longs at the low. So there you go. That is what I would be looking at on H-bar. Just beautiful rejection off that weekly naked point of control. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin, said instantly stops coding for your stream, bro. LFG. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. Let's get it. He's been crushing the trades lately. Stupid Bitcoin. I am waiting for that name to change in the chat to Genius Bitcoin. Shout out to you, bro. Dave Digital says, welcome, Annie. Annie says, no idea, big doll. Maybe 13 inches is better than 12. Are we talking about $5 footlongs? What are we doing here? Shout out to Annie. BTC has a 13-inch wick. Okay. We're talking about $5 footlongs. Annie, come on. Bing bong. Shout out to Annie coming in here, dropping those dropping those $5 footlong jokes. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Annie. Just shouting out Dave Digital's nostrils. But guys, let's see. Yo, you guys are going ballistic. Shout out to Alexandra. Shout out to you. What is going on, Alexandra G? Shout out to TJ Needs Speed. Says, Frankie, long time no see, buddy. Shout out to TJ Needs Speed. Thank you for being here, bro. Good to see you again. Happy to have you in here. Shout out to Gary C. Said, wait, we're going to zero. I'm selling it all. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. What's going on? Kerry Stressel in the chat. What is going on, Kerry Stressel? Crypto Naughty says, what the wick is going on? I don't know. They're talking about wicks in the chat. Listen, I don't ask questions. When I see weird stuff going on in chat, guys, I just get back to the charts. Yeah. Let's see. Shout out to Alexandra G. What is going on? XRP and Casper, let's take a look. We could take a quick look at Casper and XRP. And guys, XRP is killing me right now. XRP just simply trying to bore me to death here. We got to break above our value area high, which was our key level of resistance. We got the breakout. We held it as support, tried to go higher, and now we are simply just bing-bonging around on this key level. Simply put, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on XRP because this thing is just been extremely boring, right? I'm not saying that's bearish or it's going to zero because of it. It's just been very boring, right? There's really nothing to cover here other than until we break this value area low at 63 cents, that's where I wake up, right? Like, even if XRP's, oh my God, XRP's pumping, until we flip this value area low decisively and start moving up, I am not really getting out of bed for XRP, to be honest with you. So until that happens, kind of boring here. We deviated above the volume profile. If we get accepted back in here, you're likely going to get sucked down back towards this blue box starting at about 50 cents. And I would just be looking continuously at these. I'll probably make a new XRP chart. These levels are all still legitimate. But yeah, things are just lackluster here on XRP. But that's kind of what I would be looking at. These key levels all remain the same until we flip that 63 cent level. I'm not expecting much higher. And until we break down below, 53 cents-ish, I'm not really going to expect lower. And even at that point, I'm really just expecting 50 cents, right? So it's not even that big of a move. So key levels here, in my opinion, value area low, doorway to higher prices at 63 cents. And honestly, this level, right? The POC of this range, this local range, and this bigger range, this POC sitting here at about 50 cents is your next key level. I wouldn't even, the only reason this level is key is because it'll let us know if we're likely to come back down to the POC or not. But this is your key level, because if you're looking for a big move down on XRP, this is the level you need to lose. So key levels, POC of this range at 50 cents, and the value area low, doorway to higher prices at 63 cents. Did I say this was 63? 50 cents. 63 cents. Those are the two key levels. Other than that, we may just kind of bing bong around, which would be this would be brutal for XRP holders, especially if everything else starts ripping and XRP is just still getting tumbled underwater, just getting stuck underwater. It's, oh God, so frustrating. Shout out to Illegal, says SNX, thank you. Shout out to Illegal. Yes, we can take a look at synthetics, no problem. And then we'll try to take a look at Casper really quick. We should have named this stream. We should have made this thumbnail altcoin speed run. Let's go ahead and see. All right, so let's see, daily. Red Dot, what's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's just, this thing is just like, ugh. It just, is this thing going to rip or is it going to dump? But anyway, take a look at SNX here. Let me see if we have a running chart on, let's see. No, bada boom, Binance perpetuals. No. All right, so we got a fresh chart here. And I would simply, let's pull up the 30-minute chart here. I would simply, bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Kerry Stressel, said, great news. I finally trained Grandma on how to say Ethereum. Hashtag LFG Granny. Let's go. Shout out to Kerry Stressel. Kerry Stressel's grandma no longer says Erythrium. Shout out to all the grannies out there. But this is, let's see what we're looking at here on synthetics. So daily money flow back in the red. This is a little confusing looking. Take a look at the weekly. You know, on the altcoins, guys, I am looking at a little bit longer term view. Money flow back in the green here on SNX. I would look, let's see, let's pull this fib. Bada boom. No, this is the actual low. Okay, so this is kind of what I would look at on SNX. Come on. Come on, range. You can do it. There. Okay, that's why. We're going to unextend it to the right. Grab our box. Bada boom. This is your next value area, in my opinion. And then what we can do here is mark these two levels out, as these are going to be significant resistance. Let's see if we have any confluence here with naked points of controls. And yes, we do. Look at that golden pocket confluence on this weekly. This is your next major key level. You can see we actually have already, come out, let me label this dang line. We have already, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to tighten up that level. So this is what I'm looking at here on SNX here, real quick. Let's go value area high, POC, value area low, bada boom, bada bing, bang, right there. Okay, so this is what I'd look at. You can see we've already come up and attempted to break through that previous value area and got the rejection. This is similar to what we saw on Ethereum, right? As we come down to a lower time frame, right? We simply approach that previous value area. Maybe we'll come up a little higher. We approached that previous value area and got the rejection before finally flipping it to support and filling the range, right? Or almost filling the range. Now, coming back over to, there we go. Coming back to SNX, you can see we've come into the range and gotten the rejection. Are we about to see something similar to Ethereum, where we continue the climb up, flip the value area low, and get the move up to our next key level, which would simply be here, POC of that range sitting at $5.31, weekly naked point of control sitting at $5.56, right on that golden pocket. So this is what I would look for in the long term for SNX, potentially, right? Very, very similar to Ethereum. Now, taking a look at some of these other time frames, yeah, the money flow is a little wonked out here on the higher time frames, to be honest with you. Yeah, your daily is kind of bing-bonging back and forth. You went from the green to the red, fake out into the green, back into the red. This is indecisive, in my opinion. Today, looking for a red dot, so I wouldn't be surprised if you wind up getting a little bit more of a pullback. I'll go ahead and pull our fib. Bada boom. So this is actually probably, yeah, this is going to be a very key level. I know we're on a really small chart here right now, guys, but just bear with me. I will zoom back in. I'm just trying to find the actual saucy levels. Let's see. Bada boom. Okay, so we'll come back down. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking at, guys. For the most part, market cipher's a little bit indecisive here. You can see we've already tapped into this. We've already tapped into this blue box slightly, but this is key support, right? If you lose this level, if you lose this box, things could get ugly. But for the most part, as long as you hold above this level, guys, I would potentially look for a bounce. Key level of resistance up here at $4.40. Really, it's the longer term I'm looking at. I wouldn't be looking to trade this short term. So just and again, I want you guys to really look at the I want you guys to really look at the similarities here between SNX and let me see. Can I? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So it's all about testing those previous value areas. Rejection. Could we get above and fill the range potentially? And again, one last time. Rejection. We'll be looking for SNX to do something like that potentially. Once you get above that value area low, which once again is sitting at $4.40. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Yo. Shout out to Annie. Annie, who are you? Are you Creighton C? Shout out to Annie. Yo, you guys are wild in the chat right now. All right, let's see. Shout out to Bruno CF. Let's go ahead and take a look at Solana. Shout out to Bruno CF. Dude, I think you've been asking for Solana for a couple of days. And like literally, it is so hard to just riff off of the chat and the altcoin list that we have and go back and forth. People like, can we look at this? And, you know, I always try to go back to as many things as I possibly can. But it is very hard. I probably forgot a coin today, but unfortunately, it is impossible for me to catch every coin. But we have actually not taken a look at Solana for some time, so let's take a look here. And honestly, not much has happened on Solana, which is part of the reason why I was not really, wasn't really any of the focuses of our live streams recently. Because as you guys know, we recently were looking. The only trade I was really looking at on Solana, we talked about this on the live stream a while ago, was a push down to this value area low. I was interested in potentially looking for longs here. I did not take any, right? I typically trade Bitcoin for the most part. Some altcoins, but you can only trade so many assets, right? We talked about this last night. You can only trade so many assets. I don't even recommend people trade multiple altcoins, especially if you're a beginner. Stick with Bitcoin. Get that down, and then slowly add other assets, right? Like, get your experience in and then explore the altcoins. They're much more volatile. They all behave slightly different. So especially if you're learning, it's very hard to be, like, looking at different assets that behave differently all at the same time. I highly recommend sticking to one asset. And if you don't want to trade Bitcoin, which, by the way, if you're trading with leverage, people who say, like, I used to think, when I started leverage trading, I used to think, like, oh, you know, if everything follows Bitcoin, I'll just trade Ethereum. And then if Bitcoin's looking bullish, I'll just trade Ethereum and I'll get a bigger percentage gain because the lower market cap, right? But to be honest, guys, with leverage, Bitcoin moves plenty to make tons of money with leverage. You don't need to be trading altcoins with leverage, at least in my opinion, right? I'm not saying you can't. You could make a ton of money doing it. I'm just saying for beginners, I think you have a way higher chance of being a successful trader and not giving up on it if you just stick to one asset. You're going to confuse and complicate things if you add too many coins. But we looked for that long position, right, from down here, which obviously wound up bringing you to the value area high, which would have been the final TP or the last TP before locking in profits and moving your stop loss up into profit. And you can see here, guys, like, look at the respect on that value area high. This is why we use these levels, right? You dip, deviate from the low, right to the POC, right to the value area high, and then we got the breakout. However, what is going on right now? Right now, we are potentially getting accepted back into this range, which would make the next significant target on Solana the point of control. If we do indeed wind up getting accepted into this range, which really, to get full acceptance, in my opinion, like, you have multiple 4-hour candle closes, but sometimes you can wiggle around. Like, even here, you came back out, you came in, and then you came back out, and then you found support, and now you're back in. You could get back above it. You might just kind of gravitate and magnetize to this level. However, you can see here, this daily candle close, this would kind of give me a bigger hunch, right? I would have a stronger hunch that we were going to come back down into this range if this daily candle closes, or even maybe a couple candle closes on the daily below this level. So that is going to be kind of what I would be looking at. Looking at our Fibonacci levels, pulling from the low to the high, you could see So your next levels of support, not taking this range into account, right? If I were not looking at the volume profiles, simply put, I would be looking at this golden pocket 786 as the next key levels of support. Let's pull up. Let me see if there's any other significant levels. Yeah, this 786 is extra saucy. Let's check the weekly levels. So, yeah, I mean, very, very simple, guys. Locally, if you are going to wind up getting support on the golden pocket or the 786, which is, let me just, bada boom. And what was that? Was that I think it was a daily? Yeah, okay. So, if you do continue down, those are going to be the levels I would be watching. Let me label that. Bada boom. So, yeah, these are the local levels I'd be looking at, right? So you slip this level. I'd look for the 786, naked daily point of control. Look for that bounce. But then on that bounce, you do have to be careful that you could be, right? Let's say you get a little bounce here, rejection. At that point, you're accepted into the value area, and you could be on your way to the POC at $90. So key levels to the downside, $102 at the golden pocket, right? Level number 2, 786 at $98.50. Between $98.50 and $97, right, with that daily naked point of control. And then after that, next key level would be the POC at $90.44. Just using that, right, like this is why we use the volume profiles, right? Simply gives us context into what price is going to do. If we don't bounce on these local levels, just look at your volume profile and treat it as they behave. So there you go. Key levels above, if we do break out, you do have this daily level of resistance at $120. If you break above that, simply put, like in the long term, guys, if we're taking a look at something like the weekly chart, no real divergence on the weekly, but you are getting a red dot. So not impossible to come down to these levels in the next week or so. But if you do, look at your money flow coming up, right? This money flow coming up is indicating the macro trend is likely to continue to the upside. So even if you do come down to those levels, you could wind up continuing up over time. So long-term, still not looking bad, right? Weekly red dot could give you a pullback, but that money flow is long-term bullish. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. He said, Andy Rection is new, Frank. I said Andy. Luckily. Shout out to Dave Digital. Because of Dutchy, shout out to Dave Digital. I have a feeling that Annie is I have a feeling Annie is Mark Dutch. Shout out to Dave and Mark Dutch. Shout out to Bruno, said thank you very much. Love this afternoon stream. It's 17:30 in Spain right now. I usually watch you at 23:45. Shout out to Bruno CF. Shout out to Crypto Face as well. But yeah, shout out to you, brother. This is why I'm here, to keep you guys updated on all of the price action, so you guys are up to date on the key levels, and you know, or have the best shot of figuring out where price is going to go before it actually moves. So, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all we got for today's little morning, afternoon live stream. But that's not all the Frankie Candles you're getting today. We will be seeing you at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to everybody. Smash that like button on your way out. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because if you were and you had notifications set, you would have gotten updated on our Ethereum video looking for that $3,000 level before it happened. So shout out to the Mafia. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.